It started with a proposal by Denis Boulian for the festival Music March, and he wanted to have a new version of Pulau for percussion and choir. So I worked on the orchestration with Peter Schubert from University McGill. And in the same time, John Rea proposed me to do a paper on the orchestrations, the different orchestrations of Pulau Dewata. Because Pulau Dewata has been written by Claude Vivier without any specific instrumentation. It's only composed with like 4 different voices, and it's up to every person, every group who wants to perform it, to actually do the orchestration themselves.
Okay.
Claude Vivier gave a few principles at the beginning of the score regarding the orchestration. You have to give at least in one range of the register, high range, low range, wherever, the intervals are there set in his arranging, in his writing. And the other one is like you need to respect the registration at some point. If it's written in the high range, you have to go in the high range. But besides that, you can do any octaviations, you can double, you can triple, you can quadruple each voice, and you can do whatever you want with it. But you need to have all the notes. Okay. Like you can take out some of the music, and you're not supposed to add some melodic parts or harmonic parts. He went in Indonesia in 76-77, and he was just coming back from Indonesia. He stayed in Bali for a couple of months, and he really loved being there. He learned how to play the gamelan, the orchestra of gongs. It was a gamelan gong, and he decided, and he was really influenced by what he discovered there about the melodic principles. How he says in one of his notes, how from one melody you can derive sub-melodies, and also the structural form, the way the instruments are related to each other. But it's not a Balinese piece at all, and he's specifying that also. He writes, I wanted to write a piece in the spirit, with the spirit of Bali, but it's not a Balinese piece, it's his own work. He just wanted to have it like full of, it's an explosion of life, as he says. Something like with the sense of rhythm, sense of the dance, and just something like simple but full of life. You have actually like 2 big tendencies to do some orchestrations. You have like the quartet version, which is like mainly each instrument takes one of the 4 voices, and they keep them through the whole piece, which is like 12 to 30 minutes long. The other tendency is to go with the structure of the piece, which is constructed with a lot of little cells. You have like 5 different kinds of cells. You have cells with melodic, punctuation, repeated chords, intervals, counterpoint, and you can add silence or interruptions because you have like big breaks at some point. And all of that is really like structured, but you can grasp this idea and just like play with colors to characterize each of this kind of melodic or of cell, a musical cell, and then you can build something slightly different. And I went rather with this way of doing things, and specifically because I work with the archives. I found in the archives at the University of Montreal that there were like 50 pages of sketches by Claude Vivier, and then the whole structure is really clear, and it was a structure that he built a priori, just before starting to write the notes. He really worked on the form, and he worked also on the form in the time structure, as well as the melodic structure. And you're expanding, you have more and more notes, and each section is longer. Second section is longer than the first one, the third one is longer, extra, and then you have more and more different melodic small scales. kind of scales, like melodic scale, we could call them. So it's really like constructed like that, and everything is decided beforehand if it will be a melodic scale of 5 beats, and then you have repeat chords for 13 beats, etc. So if you play with that, then you have something which I think more lively for the rendition of the work. What the archives were really interesting because you go like kind of in the head of the composer, and what I found, which is interesting point, is that he missed a full system when he copied the music for the final score to give to the publisher. So the actual published score misses 13 beats. It's a full system, but it was like connected, so he didn't realize that he missed this system because it's a long section with a lot of counterpoint, and the end of a system and the beginning of the next one were matching together. So that's kind of interesting. I discovered that when I was checking his sketches for the form with the time structure, and when I started to compare to what was actually written, there was 13 bit missing, and just because of that.